Welcome, friends. I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. Welcome to our Poise and Pen gratitude practice. In today's practice, I'll guide you through a gratitude meditation. I'll coach you through an autonomic nervous system down regulating breath, so a calming breath. And we're going to do some journal prompts related to a specific aspect of gratitude. So what I think you'll need to be safe, comfortable, and to get the most out of your practice, for the gratitude meditation itself, you can do it seated or you can do it laying down. If you do it laying down, choose any space you like. Just choose a space that allows you to balance the two qualities of relaxation and alertness. If you choose to do it seated, you could sit directly on your mat or directly on the floor. That feels terrible in my lower back. I'm never going to choose that, right? But for a lot of bodies, that works fine. You could do that. You can see behind me here, I've created a little meditation bench for myself out of a blanket, two yoga blocks, and a yoga bolster. You could do something like that. But there's also not a reason in the world that you couldn't do this from a chair. You could do this at your kitchen table. You could do this in the desk in your office. So you'll need practice space, both for the meditation and the journaling. You'll need a journal, a notebook, or something to write in. Pens or pencils. If you're like me, you're probably going to benefit from reading glasses. Only important for me if I want to be able to see what I'm writing. So press pause, set up your practice space, gather up your props and materials, and when you're ready, press play, and I'll meet you on your mat for our Poise and Pen gratitude practice. Welcome, friends. We'll get started with a gratitude practice. Before we started the practice, I'm going to orient you to the practice and let you know a little bit about what to expect, give you some context first. But I wanted to tell you about the chime. Now, I'm going to invite the chime 3 times today. I'm going to do it once now, just as a demonstration so that you know what to expect. I'll do one where we start leaning into our gratitude practice, and I'll do one at the very end to indicate the closing of the meditation portion of today's practice. So, for the chime itself, that is what you can expect. So, a gratitude meditation is a conscious effort to appreciate what makes us feel good. It's really tied with opening our hearts and embracing the blessings that we have. Gratitude meditation has been there since all ages, both in spiritual and non-spiritual fields. So, unlike conventional meditation practices that need physical arrangements like posture or some kind of illumination or um, sound adjustments, a gratitude meditation is much more flexible and it can be practiced in a variety of settings for either a short duration or a long duration. This is a really common practice from Buddhist monks and nuns, and they do this often at the beginning and the end of the day to pay tribute to everything that's helped them survive that day, including their sufferings. Gratitude meditation gives us the power to face our weaknesses and to acknowledge the darker sides of life. It guides us to accept them, to learn from them, and to grow with them. And this is what we get from practicing it. We get resilience, we get positivity, we get social awareness, we get better sleep, often reduce stress. Research shows that people who practice gratitude meditation regularly have a well balanced blood pressure level, they have a better metabolism, and they have enhanced mood conditions. Gratitude practice can be used to promote a positive mood, a sense of hope, and resilience. As we experience positive emotions such as gratitude, metta or loving kindness, and compassion, our awareness broadens and our creativity and problem solving capacities blossom. We become more effective in whatever we choose to do. So that's the context. To begin, find a safe, quiet place where you know that you won't be disturbed. So once again, you could do this laying down or you could do this in a seated position. I'll keep track of time for you and I'll start this, as I mentioned, with a gentle chime. Make your way into your practice position. So, a seated position or something on your back, again, where you can balance the two qualities of relaxation and alertness. Make sure you'll be warm enough. So, if you need to grab a sweater or if you need to grab a blanket, or if you've got any restrictive clothing, you might choose to loosen those up a little bit, or maybe put on something that's a little bit looser and allows you to breathe comfortably. If it feels safe for you, close your eyes down. But if that doesn't feel safe, or you're just not inclined to do that, leave your eyes open, but see if you can find a soft gaze. So find a single point of focus on something 6 to 12 feet in front of you. Soften your gaze, but with a wide periphery, like you were taking in the whole room. We're going to start to take a deep cleansing breath first. So draw in a deep, life affirming breath. Hold it at the top. Sip in even more air, and then open your mouth, exhale through your mouth, make a ha sound. And as you breathe, I'd like you to bring yourself to the present moment and to begin the process of feeling more peaceful and centered. Breathe into your belly so it expands as you breathe in and it contracts as you breathe out. Now, take a minute or two to mentally scan your body for any areas where there's tightness, tension, or soreness, and breathe your warm breath into that area. As you breathe out, visualize the tension releasing, really coming out with your breath. Now, check into how you're feeling. Notice any worries, fear, anger, irritation, jealousy, or judgment. Just breathe into those emotions, noting them. Maybe visualize them flowing out as you breathe out. Another breath into any other uncomfortable emotions as you inhale. Visualize that emotion peacefully, gently flowing out of you as you exhale. Now, any thoughts and memories, plans, associations, anything other than being here, breathing, just breathe into those thoughts. And as you exhale, visualize the thoughts flowing out with your breath. Allow your body to be relaxed and open, your breath natural, your heart easy. Now that our bodies, emotions, and thoughts are a bit more clear, a bit more spacious and open, we can begin to focus on the events, experiences, people, pets, or possessions for which we feel grateful. So if you're listening to this call in a recorded format, it might bring to your mind that you already have several marvelous gifts. Begin the practice of gratitude by feeling how year after year you've cared for your own life. Now, let yourself begin to acknowledge all that has supported you in this care. Starting with the gift of life itself, the most precious gift. Your mother gave birth to you. Someone fed you as an infant, changed your diaper. They clothed you, bathed you, taught you to speak and to understand. You might consider the gift of hearing so that you can hear and learn, whether it's the song of a bird, maybe it's the notes of a band or an orchestra, the songs of singing and voices, the sound of your own breath flowing in and out. The gift of a heartbeat, steady, regular, moment after moment, pumping fresh, life-giving blood to all of your organs. Following mantras, if they feel appropriate to you, if they feel safe, you might repeat these after me. With gratitude, I remember the people, plants, insects, creatures of the sky and sea, air and water, fire and earth, all whose joyful exertion blesses my life every day. With gratitude, I remember the care and labor of 1,000 generations of elders and ancestors who came before me. I offer my gratitude for the blessing of this earth I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the measure of health I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the family and friends I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the community I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the teachings and lessons I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the life I have been given. Just as we are grateful of our blessings, so can we be grateful for the blessings of others. So think about the things that we have today that make our lives easier and more comfortable than they were for, say, our great grandparents. Flip a switch, the lights come on. We turn a tap and clean, safe, drinkable water flows forth. We adjust a thermostat on the wall and the room grows warmer or cooler. We have a roof to keep us dry when it rains. We have walls to keep out the cold wind. And we have windows to let in the light and screens over the windows to keep out insects. We enter a vehicle and it takes us where we want to go. We have access to machines that wash our clothes. We have clothes to wear. We have places to store them. There are machines that store our food at just the right temperature and help us to cook it without gathering wood. We have indoor plumbing. We have public libraries that have thousands of books and recordings free for anyone in the community to borrow and read. We have public schools that teach us to read and write, skills that were available to only just a few, even just as recently as a few hundred years ago. Now, take a moment to reflect on the thousands of people who have worked hard, some without even knowing you at all, to make your life easier, safer, or more pleasant. Some who plant, grow, and harvest your food. Some who transport that food to market. The team of people who make the roads and the railways that make it easier to transport the food. Another team of people who maintain the vehicles, the drivers, loaders, the people who unload the vehicles. Those who take the time to design the store, the shelves, and the packaging that keep the food safe and allow you to find what you need. Postal service, someone who sorts the mail, other people who deliver it, drop it off at your house. Those who maintain the servers so you can get and receive email, you can send and receive email and access the internet. Those who design operations and systems for gathering, sorting, and disposing of trash or recycling. Those who gather news stories and photos, and those who create the many means by which the news reaches us. And all those who play sports, create art, music, plays, poems, or films that entertain and uplift you. Most of these are people that you've never met or barely know. Now, consider the people and pets you know who enrich your life. Those who smile at you and cheer you on, those family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues, and peers. Those ancestors who worked so you could live well. Those friends who support you when you need a shoulder or a hand. Now, shift your practice to the cultivation of joy. Continue to breathe gently. Bring to mind someone you care about, someone it's easy to rejoice for. Picture them and feel the natural joy you have for their well being, happiness, and success. And with each breath, offer them your grateful, heartfelt wishes. Inhale, may you be. Exhale, joyful. Inhale, may your happiness. Exhale, increase. Inhale, may you not be separated from. Exhale, great happiness. Inhale, may your good fortune and the causes for your joy and happiness. Exhale, increase. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own reasons for feeling grateful in this moment. There's so much to feel grateful for in this moment, right now. Gratitude fills our hearts and our minds, uplifts our spirits. Start to shift your focus and your attention back to a present moment anchor in your body. Maybe the place where right now you're feeling the most provocative sense of sensation. Start to deepen the breath, maybe bigger in your belly and your chest on each inhale, and more full and complete on each exhale. And you could, if you like, start to reanimate your body with movement. Maybe small movements like wiggling your fingers or your toes, maybe something with your neck, something gentle. And then feel free to start going bigger at any time you like. That might look like rotating your hands at the wrists, your feet at the ankles. It might look like a full body stretch. And if you've chosen to do this practice laying down, press yourself up into a seated position. If you're already seated, stay right there. Thank you, friends, for joining me in this gratitude meditation practice. May this moment find your heart grateful, light, and free. And that concludes our gratitude meditation practice. All right, friends, today in tandem with the meditation in the journaling practice, we're going to do an autonomic nervous system down regulating breath. So, this is a breath to use. It may not be the way that you want to start the day unless you're super freaked out in the beginning of your day, because this is the sort of thing it will decrease. It will be vasodilating, so it'll expand the blood vessels. So, it will decrease your heart rate, it will decrease your blood pressure. A great breath to do in the evening before you go to bed. So this is going to be a 4-4-4 down regulating breath. So the mudra or mark that I'd like you to take, if you take your right hand, fold in the index finger and middle finger. The job of the right thumb will be to close off the nose. The job of the right ring finger and pinky finger is to close off the left nostril. Now, for this breath, I'm going to cue you to inhale through your nose, both nostrils, for a count of 4. I'm going to cue you for a chin lock. So, what I'll have you do, right thumb closes off the right nostril, right ring and pinky finger close off the left nostril. I will have you drop your chin to your chest, lift your chest up to your chin. We'll hold here for a count of 4, and then I will cue you to lift your chin, release your left nostril, exhale through the left nostril for a count of 4. So it will be a 4-4-4 down regulating breath with a chin lock. right? So I'm going to start the practice with quite a lot of instruction, but the instruction will get more and more sparse throughout the practice. I think what you'll find is you'll need less and less of it. So meditation mudra. For now, both hands relax in your lap or on your thighs. Let's start with another cleansing breath, taking a deep, juicy, life-affirming breath. Make that ha sound through your mouth. Ha. And then inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the right nostril with the right thumb. Close the left nostril with the right index finger, pinky finger. Drop your chin to your chest, chest to your chin, chin lock. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift your chin, release your left nostril. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the nostril, lock the chest, chin. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift chin, exhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close nose, chin, lock. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift chin, exhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close nose, chin, lock. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift chin, exhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close nose, chin lock. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift chin, exhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close nose, chin lock. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift chin, exhale left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it, friends. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the right hand down to the lap. Eyes are closed. Body is relaxed. Breath is natural. That was a 4-4-4 relaxation breath. That is 10 rounds. The technique, once you've done it for 10 rounds, is pretty easy to remember, friends. You can use this video to go through it a couple times if you like, but it's a really nice breath practice to help set you up for an easeful night of sleep. All right, friends, so we're going to start our first set of journaling prompts. So what I had in mind for this particular gratitude journaling practice, we're so hard on ourselves. We're so critical of ourselves, so quick to judge ourselves. And often we do it for reasons that on the surface, when we talk about it, we try to make it sound noble. So we make it sound like it's personal growth and development, like we're trying to reach our best version of ourselves. And it's not that there's not a place for that, right? But it really can be dismissive of the wonderful things about us right now in this moment. So I'd like to focus our gratitude journaling today on you as you are right now, not like how you want to be 5 years from now, not how you think you might have the potential to be, but who, what, how you are right now. I also want to focus a set of questions on your life leading up to now, not this not the mythology of your life, the history of your life, what actually happened. Um, so we're going to start this with one set of questions that Both sets of questions have opportunity for depths, but the first set of questions are a little bit more straightforward, and I think will be less potentially emotionally taxing for us, for myself included. So I'll read these to you, and then we'll go to the second set of questions, which will probably likely be much more confronting. So what I'll do is I'll read through these questions first. Question one is, which of your personality traits are you most grateful for, and why? The second, which of your physical characteristics are you most grateful for, and why? And the third is, describe three talents or qualities that you have that you're most grateful for. What I would encourage you to do, friends, pause your recording, take as much time you need to journal responses to these questions, and then press play, and we'll move on to the next set of questions. All right, friends, we're going to discuss these questions all in a group. So for now, I'd like you to focus on the next two questions. So these, as I mentioned, they may be a little bit more confronting, a little more difficult for you to sit with. So one of the things I would want you to know about that is whatever your emotional response is to the questions and the feeling, whatever your emotional response is to the questions, it's okay. It's okay. So honor that, recognize that. You deserve to be able to have whatever feelings that you have, that your feelings. Um, and also see if you can recognize and identify those feelings with kindness and compassion, and be the observer of those to allow yourself to think through what the answers to these might be and maybe capture them in your journal. So the first question is, describe three things that happened to you. These can be positive or negative that contributed to who you are today. And the second, tell your superhero origin story. I'd like you to consider the worst time period that you've gone through in your life, and then describe the ways, like 10 plus ways, in which you and your life are better for the world because of that worst time period. So pause your recording, work through, take all the time you need, work through your responses to these questions, and then press play, and we'll look at our responses together. All right, friends, how was that though? How was that journaling exercise for you? So what I'll do, since right now it's just me with a recording, I'm going to share with you like what I unearthed, what I excavated during the journaling. In the interest of having this as like back and forth and two directional as we can, I would really encourage you, if it feels comfortable and safe and you're moved to do so, share your observations and your excavations with me as well. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So you could do that. You could set up a meeting with me through my Calendly account. You can email me, Chris at transformationnationyogaandwellness.com. Reach out to me through the message functions on Instagram or Facebook. You can text message me. If you don't have my number, US number 281-728-3896. Please like text first. I'm okay with a call if I know it's coming, but I'm pretty deeply introverted, and sometimes the cold calls can be a little uncomfortable. So I'd appreciate a text first. But if you're inclined to share, I would love to hear what your thoughts were and what you came up with from this. But I'll share mine. So, which of your personality traits are you most grateful for? And for me, I have two. Like one, for me that I think is like a quality I feel really good about is persistence. I love my drive to achieve. I love my vision that pulls me forward. And I feel like my persistence translates into endurance, and that helps keep me moving forward. When in times in the past, maybe I would have gotten discouraged and quit. Um, I also really love my compassion, my open heart. I spent most of my life with my heart closed off. If you want to hear the full story of my process of learning to open my heart, take any one of my heart chakra classes off the Vimeo channel. But having tools to regulate the flow of energy into my heart chakra allows me to really show up fully for both myself and others in the world. So that was my answer to question number one. Question number two, it might sound weird at first. Which of your physical characteristics are you most grateful for, and why? my hips, especially my left hip and my lower back. The reason being having a full labral tear in that left hip that eventually led to a hip replacement, having a prosthetic hip now, and pretty badly herniated discs in my lumbar spine. Um, these really help me to focus in on what exactly is it that I want from my life and what does it take for me to be satisfied with my life? What could I have in my life that would be really satisfying? And in terms of activity and movement and things like that. I also feel like these are the first things that actually really work to help me learn some restraint, um, to not drive myself too hard. Like I want to work my body. I really believe movement is medicine and our bodies were designed to work, but I also think there's a skillful threshold in which to work that if we're driven and we're not careful, we can exceed. So grateful to both my hips and my lower back for teaching me those lessons. Describe three talents or qualities that you have that you're most grateful. For me, um, one is yoga teaching. I've invested years, thousands of dollars, and I've poured my soul into developing my own unique style, methodology, and niche. Now, it's not for everyone. If you practice yoga with me, you might recognize it's a little different. It's a little bit different, but I have a really specific set of people in mind who will most benefit from the way that I practice. And I think for those people, it's it's really hard to find what I'm offering. So I'm really proud of it. Uh, Self-acceptance. I spent most of my life feeling awkward and uncomfortable in my own skin. But over the last few years, I've worked really hard and I've finally been able to recognize my innate goodness and value as a person. And I genuinely like who I've become. It feels really great. And the third is creativity. So I'm not an artist in the sense like if you ask me to draw you something, or sculpt you something or paint something for you, you'd be really disappointed in the outcome. But nonetheless, like my creativity manifests through my writing, manifests. I also feel like the craft of planning and teaching yoga and meditation. So those are my three qualities: yoga teaching, self-acceptance, and creativity. So the tougher questions: what are the three things that happened to you that contribute to who you are today? One for me is military service. I was an Army linguist, and I got trained. I was trained my first year in the Army. I was trained in Korean language and culture, which is a cool experience for anyone. But I grew up in this little town in eastern Maine where everyone that I knew looked like me, talk like me. They ate the same foods that were eaten in my family of origin, right? So getting into that experience at that really formative time in my life as a young person, um, one of the things that I left my military service, one of the ideas that I left with was there are lots of different ways for people to live their lives that are all okay, right? There are lots of ways that are okay. So that was an amazing experience for me. My yoga and meditation practice have firmed my body and softened my heart. So that's something that contributes to who I am today. Like I joke about this sometimes, but it's really not a joke. I basically would not be okay without yoga every day. So it doesn't have to be 4 hours of yoga a day, but I need some time spent with movement in tandem with my breath for me to bring my best version of myself to the world. In addiction, my experience with addiction helped me discover a brand new direction for my life, and that direction is toward a life that is bigger and more satisfying and more impactful than anything that the direction that I was on before that looked like. So I'm pretty grateful for that. And that ties in with my superhero story too. Now, for the full version of my superhero origin story, I wrote a blog post for Yes Yoga Studio. March was my 13-year sobriety date, and it's called The Darkness in the Next Room. So you can check it out on the Yes website. I can send it to you. Eventually, I'm sure it'll be posted as a blog on the Transformation Nation website. But the 10 changes from that worst time of my life when I hit bottom in my drinking career, um, if you read that blog, you'll know that day one, the first day after the worst day of my entire life, I started meditating. I didn't have an informed practice. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just found a space to sit and breathe because I was totally freaking out. And as that practice for me grew and matured, um, it's been really impactful. It's been really impactful on who I am and how I show up in the world. So meditation, spiritual practice. So I um, was born into a Catholic family, and I was baptized Catholic, and I grew up going on again, off again to Christian churches like Baptist and Methodist churches, but never like I felt, if I'm honest, I felt pretty harmed by my experience with Christianity. It wasn't a good experience. So I like waffled back and forth between agnosticism and atheism, and but I always knew there was this big empty hole inside of me. There was something big that was missing, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to ask for it or to find it. But when I started crawling my way out of the worst time period of my life, spiritual practice was one of the things that I found. And while I have a lot of area for growth there, I've had connection with divine. I know what that feels like. I know what that experience is like. And so I have a deep and enduring faith that I never could possibly have had before. That's been pretty amazing. Um, I got resolved, the number three for me on this list, resolved to be a good person. Up until the point where I started working in recovery circles, uh, like I wanted to be both Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. So I never decided. I tried to have a foot in both worlds, which for me was a disaster. If it works for somebody else, that's amazing. Didn't work for me. Yoga, I mentioned already that's like the meditation has been really, really impactful in my life, both in my physicality, but also my emotional health, my mental health, my spiritual health have all evolved and thrived in what I think is a really beautiful direction through my yoga practice. Martial arts. So, like martial arts were one of those things. I remember being a boy and my parents taking me to Tracy's Karate in Ellsworth, Maine to watch a class. And I really wanted to do it, but I was intimidated. I didn't want, and I was scared, so I never went back. And like even in the army, even during military service, everywhere I moved, I'd get at that point, like some of you guys will remember this, and some of you are like, a phone what? I'd get the phone book for where I lived, and I'd flip through the yellow pages for martial arts, and I'd look at all the places, right? But one of the things that I learned is just reading the places in the yellow pages. I didn't learn any martial arts that way, right? I'm just reading what the opportunities are. But I was always scared for that. So when I started working in recovery circles, I kept looking through the yellow pages for martial arts opportunities, and then I pursued them, right? So I started with Kokikai Aikido, and then I went to a Japanese jiu-jitsu gym with a guy that had done some training in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he had some fighters that he was training. So I got a little bit of an introduction to kickboxing, and then eventually I moved to Houston and trained with Sam Hoger, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and then like over the 10 years or so that followed, it was on again, off again based on the state of my body and where I live, but mostly Brazilian jiu-jitsu and submission grappling, but Dutch style Thai boxing. And although my back injury is medically retired from me. I certainly identify as a martial artist, and I love that. I love what that time period of my life did for me. It's not that I'd never tried to have a healthier diet before I got into recovery, but I never had a really consistent focus. And it's been up and down for me over the years. It's more up right now. I'm in the best arc and the best direction of that right now that I've ever been in my life. But that really amped up for me when I got into recovery circles. Also, shadow work, going to therapists and talking, looking at my darkness and the places inside of me that I don't understand and maybe don't necessarily want to even own up to, but being able to have a better, more clear understanding of what those things are, why they're there, what they need for me, and also like what are the advantages? What are the things that like having that darkness inside of me? Um, what are the positive things that I can do for that? So that's been really great. Commitment to service to others. I always felt like I was service oriented, right? But in sobriety, I really felt like if I think one of my archetypal scripts that are running through my life is that of servant, and I don't mean that in a self-deprecating way. I mean, I feel that it feels really good, right, and appropriate for me to be of service to others. storytelling happened through my recovery, right? It happens in the halls of Alcoholics Anonymous that people become storytellers to share their experience, to encourage and help and pull other people in recovery along. But this has evolved for me in a way that I didn't expect, to a point where a couple of years ago, I was talking with one of my yoga teachers and mentors. I happened to work in her studio, and we were talking about my niche as a teacher. Um, and at that time, what this mentor said is she thought, like she said, when she described my classes to people, she said, Chris is a master storyteller who also happens to teach yoga. I think my storytelling skills have grown a lot in the last 13, 14 years of my life, and I'm excited to continue developing that side of myself. The other thing is teaching. I never would have identified myself as a teacher. And the fact is, like the archetypal scripts that I talked about, um, people have up to 12. I don't think teacher is one of mine. And I find that I really enjoy teaching meditation, facilitating breath work, and I've said 50,000 times during this practice today, I really love teaching yoga. So those are my 10 positive outcomes, the way that I and my life are better for the world because of the worst time period of my life. Once again, I'd be really interested in hearing about what you unearthed during your excavation and your journaling. Feel free to send that to me. And great job today, friends. These practices, the meditation, the breath work, and especially the journaling, can be really confronting to people. Just showing up on your mat for this is an act of courage, and I recognize you for that. And like my heart sees your heart. Great work, friends. So to close, if it feels safe and comfortable, you can have your hands at heart center, thumbs at your sternum, or draw your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows. Blessings to you and your family. And that concludes our practice for today. Once again, friends, I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness, and this was our Poise and Pen gratitude practice. You're doing great. Keep going.